Hello there, and welcome to the first episode of the second version of a slant-eyed view with two sides of cauliflower. Now, since I suspect since putting this on a different format, I'll probably get a lot of people. I need to re-explain my liberty with slant-eyed view. Um, my mother is 100% Korean. Father is American military. I was born in Seoul, um, and I've experienced all kinds of ridicule and racism from both sides of my genetic lineage. So, because of that, I feel I have every right and liberty to use the word slant eye however and whenever and wherever I see fit. And then on top of that, I just recently got the fortune to travel overseas, and I did 30 days in Thailand, primarily to learn about Muay Thai as much as possible. Anyway, before I get too far into that, while I was over there, when people would ask me where I was from, and I would tell them America, they'd kind of like, okay, but somewhat not believe me. And they'd always do this, like wave at their and point at their eyes as to say that you look Asian. So I have no guilt or want to appease any sort of political correctness when I call my program here a slant-eyed view with two sides cloud. Anyway, when I originally did the show, I did it on what's the name of the service? Libsyn, I think it was. It's just a subscription service. I had to pay for it and everything like that, which was ridiculous. But anyway, I ended that show because I, unfortunately, and sadly, my mother came across some bad health and then passed shortly after that. I don't want to get too far into that because I'll cry on camera. I don't want to do that. So anyway, I put the whole show on hiatus, or the whole idea on hiatus. And the original idea was just kind of a general opinion thing. And I want to focus this more. And I kind of had an epiphany. Because while I traveled overseas, TripAdvisor became a great tool for me. Before I left and while I was there. For places to eat, visit, stay, blah, 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 blah. But anyhow, so I did a bunch of reviews on TripAdvisor because I'm thinking, a bunch of these reviews help me out. I'll put in my 2 cents. I know how to read and write the English language, and hopefully before too long maybe another language or two. But for right now, I can read and write English pretty good, and I felt confident enough that I'll go ahead and contribute on TripAdvisor. Well, anyway, I've been getting a lot of helpful votes, I think they call them, and views, and it got me to think. It's like, well, I should redo the slant-eyed view and make it kind of a product review type deal, as well as the original version to where I still want to flap my gums about all things martial arts. And since I'm back in the USA, the main thing that means is mixed martial arts, i.e. the UFC. So this first episode, I'm going to try to bang out 3 right out the gates. But the first episode is going to be my rundown of UFC 211. Super huge card. And I'm going to give my picks and opinions on why I'm making my picks on the main card, plus whatever undercard fights may have caught my eye. And for this one, it's just the main event of the undercards really caught my eye, or the prelims, however you want to call it. So let's do it prelims to main event. Eddie Alvarez, Dustin Poirier. Most of the time, I would pick Eddie Alvarez without hesitation in this matchup. But I have to wonder where his mental makeup is after his last bout and losing the title. And then for his first fight after losing the title to be on the prelims. I gotta wonder where he's at up here. And then Dustin Poirier is the type of guy that, and I heard somebody else say this, so It's not a new take. Is a guy that shows up for all the fights except for the ones that really mean something. And this one really means something. Like it's a top flight contender, and that's when he seems to falter. But again, with the way I said, I'm not sure about Alvarez's mental makeup. Leaves me divided. So I'm gonna leave this a pick 'em and chicken out. Let's get to Henry Cejudo and Sergio Pettis. Flyweights. I like Henry Cejudo all day in this particular matchup. Sergio Pettis is not too different from his older brother, which again makes me think that Cejudo's gonna have his way a lot. And seeing as Sergio Pettis is yet to prove to me on the big stage that he possesses put out power like his brother does from time to time, nothing's gonna stop Cejudo from just throwing him down and holding him down and mauling him while he's down. So if Pettis makes it through, Sergio Pettis makes it through all 3 rounds, that will be a moral victory, I think. Then we got Frankie Edgar and Yair Rodriguez. Yair Rodriguez, the hot new name on the scene with the exciting fight style, likes to use both his legs, does the flip switch kick or whatever you want to call it. It's a favorite of mine too, but I deliver a little bit differently. I try to do it the Thai way as opposed to the Taekwondo way, which is how I used to do it, which is that quick flippy. You know, now I try to make it more bang, bang. You know what I'm saying? Probably don't know what I'm saying. But anyhow, that guy has been making all kinds of impact lately, and now he's really stepping up to his competition levels. I suspect Frankie Edgar is going to really make an example out of Yair Rodriguez, because even though he didn't get the result he wanted with Jose Aldo, Frankie Edgar is not a person that I ever worry about mental resilience. This guy has already put that on the back burner, and he's thinking about, I got to do everything to do it again. And step 1 to do it again is really making an example of the young buck here tonight, or this coming Saturday night. And I suspect he will. Next up, we got Damian Maia and Jorge Masvidal. To me, the most intriguing matchup of the night. Not just because their individual strengths are the opposite fighter's individual weaknesses. Not just because of that. And I mean, that alone makes a great matchup. When one guy's strength is the other guy's weakness and vice versa, that guy's strength is the other guy's weakness, which is what we're getting with this. I am just going to say the most obvious thing, which is if it plays out on the mat for more than 90 seconds, Damian Maia will win by submission. If they have to stand up for more than 2.5 minutes per round, Damian Maia will not see the 3rd round. That's my prediction for that. So whoever gets their way is more important in this fight than probably any other fight on the card, because, well, I shouldn't say that, because the 2 previous ones I picked them because of the disparity in one set. So I'll rescind that part of my comment. But I will say it's still the most intriguing fight of the night. I am, on a technical aspect, I cannot wait to see how these guys implement the way they're going to defeat the other person. Because I think it'll say a lot about just how ready they are to challenge for the title. And I guarantee you the winner of this should get the next shot at the welterweight title. Speaking of titles, let's get into the 2 title fights. You got Joanna Jędrzejczyk defending her strawweight women's title against Jessica Andrade. I think this is a much more interesting matchup than people were giving credit for. People just seem to assume that Joanna is going to just run through Andrade, but I think Jessica Andrade possesses the same challenge that Claudia Gadelha did on a much higher level. Meaning that Claudia Gadelha seemed to give Joanna Jędrzejczyk some problems, right? Jessica Andrade is a stronger, meaner version of Claudia Gadelha. So what I'm getting at is if she's able to get any kind of top control, it's going to be a much more scarier evening for Joanna than it would be when she was underneath Claudia. I'm not saying that Claudia is not skilled and can't finish people or whatever, but when Jessica Andrade gets these other 115-pound women on their back, she has no mercy. And on a stage like this, I don't expect it to be any different. So we'll see. If young Jędrzejczyk's takedown defense is on point, then it's going to be a long night for Andrade. She'll probably get TKO'd in the championship rounds, 4th or 5th, possibly even 3rd. But I have a feeling that she's going to make it an interesting fight. And if she does get some top control, don't be surprised if we get a new champ. Main event, Stipe Miocic JDS rematch of a fight they had, I don't know, what was it, 3 years ago maybe? Something like that, 4 years ago. I thought the first fight was kind of not that exciting. I don't know that this one's going to be that much better. People are going to be hyped for it because this is the heavyweights. It is the money guys. You know, this is the big money fighters. And this definitely could end with a knockout. Could end with an early knockout. Could end with a late knockout. That's the beauty of heavyweights. I worry about Stipe being overly emotional about wanting to get something back because he felt like he won the first fight. And he has the right to think that. Depending on your perspective of things, you can definitely make the case that he won the first fight between these two guys. But trying to erase that with a whole new fight just... It doesn't really work out that way. You know what I'm saying? Afterwards, I don't think he's going to feel like, oh, all right, now I can move on or anything like that. Because it's not going to be the same fight. It's not going to be the same time. It's not going to be the same conditions. Blah, 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 blah. On and on and on. So, I'm going to take Stipe to win, but not easily. I think it's going to be a real grindy fight. A lot of time in the clinch. I think we'll see a lot of time in the clinch where they're just on the cage, exchanging punches here and there. Maybe the occasional elbow, but I doubt we'll see any knees in the clinch, really, of substance anyway, just maybe some little light knockers, you know. But anyhow, it's going to be a big night of fights. I'm still excited for it. I'm still going to be excited for that heavyweight fight, even though I just kind of put it down a little bit there. I'm still thrilled for it. But anyhow, before I run this too long, I'm going to go ahead and wind it down and let you know that on the next 2 episodes, I'm going to divide it up. Because like I said, this is mostly going to be a review program with the occasional, when there's big fight cards like this, I'm going to go over opinion picks, blah, blah, whatever you want to call it. I mean, everybody's got their own thing that they call their breakdown or picks or whatever. So I'm not even going to give it a name. I'm going to just say my slant-eyed view. Sorry, I had to do it. But anyhow, I plan on the next ones I'm going to bang out. It's going to be product reviews. One episode is going to be the stuff that I picked up while I was in Bangkok. The other episode is going to be the stuff I picked up in Pattaya. And I'm also going to review the stadiums while I was there. Or I shouldn't say review the stadium. I'm going to review my experiences at the respective stadiums of the towns. In Bangkok, the legendary Lumpini and Rachmadon. And in Pattaya, Max. So, I'll be getting to those real quickly. All right, see you.